Hi students, I think one point that all of you would agree is before a campus placement interview, you should be preparing well for the interview. So today I am going to tell you a 5-point checklist that you should have in mind which will tell you whether you have prepared enough for the interview or not. Number 1, do a research about the company. Have you done a research about the company's culture, values, and the products they have, and also the kind of turnover they have, the number of employees they have, their competitors, what are their competitors' strengths, what are their strengths and weaknesses as compared to their competitors? So if you have done a research on these points, that means that this point is a tick. Checkpoint number 2. Have you gone through the job description very carefully? I have seen most MBA students in some of the best colleges also do not go through the job description carefully, and what is on top of your mind is just one thing, which is what is the CTC offered. Now that's a blunder. In case you want to prepare well, that means you should have read the job description very carefully, because what it means is if you know that what is the job you are going to do, you can augur and present your skills that augur well for that particular job. So it's very important that you read the job description very carefully, and in fact I recommend reading the job description at least thrice. If you have done that, then you have scored over others. Number 3, the third point is self-reflection. So do a self-reflection, and there are 3 important parts to doing a self-reflection. First, knowing your resume. Do you know your resume well? Do you know what is written there, and especially about your internships, life projects, prior work ex and so on? In case you do, that means that this point is checked. Number 2, knowing your strengths and weaknesses. Now this is something also very important, because this is a common question being asked in most of the interviews, where the interviewer wants you to tell your strengths and weaknesses. In fact, I have made a separate video to cover this particular topic, and you may like to go through it. And the third point is behavioral examples. Now you should be able to be anecdotal. You should be able to give examples from your life that proves that whatever traits you are mentioning are actually there in you. The fourth point to a good interview preparation is to prepare an answer for the common interview questions. All of us know the questions like where do you see yourselves 5 years down the line, what are your strengths and weaknesses, why should we hire you, and so on. So basically you should have a framework. I am saying not the exact answer, don't mug up the answer, but you should have a framework of what to say when you are asked these questions. Now the last but not the least point, which is about preparing for an interview, which is questions to interviewers. See, basically most of the interviewers ask you in the end that if you have any questions to ask. And often what is the answer? No, I don't have any questions. Now that is not correct. In fact, I would like to say here a quotation, which is basically you judge a clever man by his answers, but you judge a wise man by his questions. So if you are given an opportunity to ask questions, don't leave it. Ask intelligent questions that may be pertaining to company culture, collegiality, the training provided, the growth opportunities in the company and so on. So ask the interviewer about all these. Now one thing that I would like to also add here is, in the end, always say a thank you to all the interviewers. This is one small point, but it makes a very big difference. So students, basically today we talked about interview preparation, and let me tell you that if you are confident while entering the interview room, I think you have won half the battle. So You may be sharp, you may be knowledgeable, but you should also be prepared well for that particular interview on that particular day. Wish you all the best.